CBS News has learned President Obama has invited Congressman and former Republican vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan to the White House for lunch today. Last night, the president hosted a dinner with a dozen Republican senators at a restaurant near the White House. The president is trying to jumpstart the stalled talks over the deficit. One of the guests was Tennessee Senator Bob Corker. Senator, good morning. Let me begin with this.
Charlie.
Describe the mood there and whether you think this new initiative by the president will change anything.
Look, it was very constructive. It seemed perfectly normal to have a group of folks talking about the biggest issue our nation faces, and I don't think there's any expectation that something over the next month or 6 weeks is going to occur, but I think it helped lay a foundation for constructive talks, maybe between now and the debt ceiling, but certainly it was very useful, very sincere, very cordial, and a good dinner.
And did the president say anything that surprised you in terms of where he might go with respect to entitlement cuts?
You know, I'd been over to the White House, Charlie, on Monday and sat down with Gene Sperling, so I had a pretty good sense of touch points. I do think that the conversations were very honest. I mean, Republicans talked about tax reform. They talked about the types of structural entitlement reforms. The president talked about the kind of things that he felt like needed to be part of a larger deal. So, again, what I would say that the most, I think, salient part about the dinner was it was a very sincere and open conversation. I think everybody's agreed they're not going to give a readout on policy issues that were discussed, but very helpful. And again, I think it's the kind of thing that most of us thought was a perfectly normal dinner to talk about, again, the biggest issue. And I think it was helpful. I really do.
But, Senator, you mentioned that word, the sincere and open conversation. It's clear the president doesn't believe he can have that anymore with the Republican leadership in the House and the Senate. Do you agree this is a good move to move beyond the leadership and try and develop a new group of people to come to agreement on some sort of deal?
Yeah. Well, I will say I don't think the president ever alluded to the fact that he didn't think he could have those kinds of conversations with leadership.
But they haven't been productive. You acknowledge that.
Well, we haven't yet come to that point. I do think that broadening it out is a very helpful thing. And I think for people on both sides of the aisle to have these kind of open conversations with, you know, our chief executive is a good thing. My sense is that he's going to do the same with some Democratic senators soon. I can't imagine it will be even, I think the meeting last night probably was what he would consider to be a very helpful and hopeful meeting. I think he'll have the same with Democratic senators, and hopefully we can move towards Norah solving this big issue, put it in the rearview mirror, and begin focusing again on the greatness of this nation. That's what all of us want to see happen.
And, Senator, we've learned this morning that President Obama has now invited Congressman Paul Ryan, who is Mitt Romney's running mate, to lunch today at the White House. Do you see this as a big change by the president, now talking this closely with Republicans?
Well, I think the fact that, you know, this is being covered so much indicates it is a pretty big change. I mean,
there
you go. We look at it as pretty normal, but, you know, everybody's kind of fascinated. I think it's a great move. Look, John McCain sat beside him last night, and there was a lot of joviality. It was a good meeting.
When was the last time you had dinner with the president, Senator?
You know, I think maybe when he was a senator. I don't know, but it was.
Well, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Bob Corker, great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.